This opening Rue Bloodberg machine seems to be a metaphor about the halls running red from all the murders, but based on the season so far, I'm more inclined to think this is Dornish wine.
You, Prince Strayhawk. Your mother and bastard father!
Using his title of Prince in this context is confusingly respectful. Dragons kick all the ass, don't they? Which makes me wonder, why haven't they continued to send dragons after the crab feeder? In fact, why aren't dragons always the first line of defense? And there's a mention that he just hides in a cave or something, but he's got to come out at some point, and if he doesn't, just let him starve in there. Dragons are easily their best weapon. Use the damn things before gets to this point, and maybe never gets to this point.
Dear my prince, save me!
Taking being a foot soldier to literally. Even with all the fire going on here, the visibility in this scene is so low that I'm having flashbacks to the Long Night, and anything that reminds me of the Long Night gets a sin. This mostly doesn't work because he is walking his dragon instead of flying it.
And you have my nose.
He does not have the king's nose. As we can see here, the king's nose is still firmly on his face. Jeez.
It only remains for Viserys to name him heir to the throne.
I don't know that his grace sees it so clearly.
Then it lies with you to make him see it.
I agree. Sir Hightower, as the king's hand, should absolutely give his opinion on who the king should anoint his successor and whatnot. I'm sure this will all go over well with the king, and Hightower's in no danger of being fired. That would just be silly. Also, seen with a character named Hightower does not include a Bubba Smith or a police academy.
Under the dragon's eye.
Where's a John Blutarski when you need one? While this carriage car is at most the width of 2 people on the outside, it somehow has room for 3 people and a baby with a ton of legroom. Is there a rule that if Matt Smith's in a show, something has to be dimensionally transcendental? Now I guess I have to rewatch The Crown, Terminator Genesis, and Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Should you be traveling in such condition?
The Maester said that being out in nature would do me well.
The Maester was probably implying something more in the mind of strolling around the garden. I very seriously doubt he meant to go on a ride in a carriage that would shake your unborn fetus all over the place. Giving a toddler wine. They already stumble around and pee wherever they like. You don't need to add any alcohol to the mix. Premature celebration. Also, this many people show up to watch their king hunt? This is a bigger attendance than you see at a Jacksonville Jaguars game. And yes, I totally made that team name up. Much like the state of Delaware, the Jacksonville Jaguars do not exist.
Joanna was reported to have been abducted when one of Lord Swan's ships sailed through the stepstones.
Lord Swan or his employees are the convenient idiots who sailed through the place where the guy is feeding people to crabs, because the plot needed this as a conversation piece.
What will happen to Lady Joanna?
She's to be sold to a pillow house in the Free Cities, if you believe the rumors.
Pillow houses are awesome. We used to call them pillow forts, but me and my sister used to build them and roll around at the pillow house all the time. I may have misunderstood. Although, considering its thrones, I may have understood exactly. To get ahead of things, I'd like to point out that this is just glamping, and as I am certain someone on TikTok is trying to rebrand this as kingly camping or some as we speak, hotties should be held at least partially responsible.
I want a princess. Is your own second named as grand as this?
Man, Lord Jason is really good with asking questions. Just taking a guess, but I'm pretty sure a future ancestor of Lord Lannister will pick up where Jason left off and start interviewing people for his podcast on serial killers. He probably won't be any good at it and will pay dearly for the career choice, but he'll put his best mask forward in his attempt. Oh, did I say mask? I meant foot. It's weird I would say mask.
But the best sport is to be found at Casterly Rock.
He's not wrong. At Casterly Rock, they have all kinds of fun and challenging creatures to hunt, such as rabid St. Bernards, psychic Christopher Walkens, and demonic pin names.
The rock is thrice the height of the High Tower in Old Town, taller still than the wall in the north.
Trying to impress someone with the height of your rock.
Why would you need a dragon pit?
To house dragons, of course.
Lord Jason Lannister would be the Dragon King at TVSins.
Princess, wait!
This horse chase chases on for all the some time.
Were you ever betrothed to Kristen?
I had an adventurous youth when my father served at Blackhaven, to be sure.
Sir Kristen went with, yeah, I used to smash all the time, instead of a simple no.
The droppings were found half a league to the east.
Still fresh.
Taking off your gloves to handle excrement. I'm pretty sure this kind of thing is why he's sick all the time. I'm no hunter, but I'm guessing to be successful at a hunt, you should be outside hunting and not inside drinking your weight in wine.
There is another choice beyond Casterly Rock.
Who do you have in mind?
Prince Aegon.
Diaperposals. Wait, sibling diaperposals. It's fascinating to me that Rhaenyra and Kristen get attacked by a boar in this episode, because a boar is how I would describe the last 31 minutes and change. Despite seeming like it's out for blood a moment ago, the wild boar will now seem content with what looks like slobbering tickle time.
Many in my line have been dragon riders. Very few among us have been dreamers.
At first I thought he was talking about being a dreamer, like having hopes for the future, but then
What is the power of a dragon? It's the power of prophecy.
I realized he's very much talking about predicting the actual future. He's been making decisions based on the possibility of a dream he had coming true. Viserys is an idiot, and the show cleverly tries to sneak this past us by having him wax all poetic here.
What if I was wrong?
But even with the knowledge of his buffoonery, part of me is still rooting for this guy. So I have to give one up for Paddy Considine for pulling off this clever performance. That feeling when everyone is worried about the king's heirs, but you're the only one concerned about the king's stairs.
You may not be white, Your Grace. He's a big lad.
That's racist. What was even the point of this ruse when you're going to have this many people there watching it all go down? Do these clapping assholes look like they know how to keep a secret? Rhaenyra's badass blood-covered entrance seems meaningful, almost like it'll change some people's perception of her. But instead of exploring that any further, the writers thought we needed another scene where the character doesn't give a good reason why a woman couldn't possibly be king.
Come, sweet prince. Let's give her grace some peace.
Aww. Lego my Aegon.
You mustn't ignore the certain truth that if Rhaenyra were to step over Aegon to ascend the throne, the realm would tear itself apart.
And we mustn't ignore the big orgy painting on the wall of your daughter's room, which doesn't get confusing till the following episodes when Alicent becomes very concerned with Rhaenyra's chastity.
It wouldn't matter if she were Jaehaerys himself, born again. Rhaenyra is a woman.
Yeah, this is a stupid and thing to say in regards to why a lot of people would not accept Rhaenyra as the queen, but it's also probably true, which makes it even here. And the fact that even today a lot of this assumption would prove truthful as well is just as depressing.
Do you not think my decision correct?
It is no consequence to it, I think.
Great! Skip! And finally, we get to see the battle we've all been waiting for. Even though we had to suffer through 45 minutes of children pouting and fathers hunting and drinking, we're finally going to get Daemon versus the Crab Feeder. Can't wait to see this go on for the next couple of episodes. It's gonna be epic. I'm sure the show wouldn't shortchange us. These shows never give us what we really want, which is, of course, to know when these game pieces are made and who is responsible for the detailed craftsmanship. There really is nothing worse than getting crabs in your mouth. Wait. I guess it makes sense that Daemon undertakes this risky solo mission as he's too prideful to accept assistance from his brother. But it also makes sense because we've gone some time without a sword fight and it's Morbin time. This is badass, but it's also bullshit that none of these arrows kill Daemon. Oh, good. I was worried we wouldn't get a snapping the arrow off while it's still inside you so you continue to fight cliche. I'm not saying this dragon riding looks fake. No, wait, I am. All seems lost for the Triarchy, but Prince Drahar has been a very interesting, mysterious, and formidable opponent, so I'm sure he's got at least one more trick up his sleeve. Never mind.
Listen, I want to slaughter all of them just like everybody else here, okay? But our military consultant says we got to cap it out at 12.
He has your eyes, Your Grace.
All the better to see you with, my dear.
Perhaps the princess might like to hear something else.
She would not. Play it again.
Toss a coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty.
Well, isn't this splendid?
Tiny box, huge room inside. What's that about? Let me explain.
It is tradition, Your Grace. Tradition.
I may run from hyenas, but I will always fight a bully!
Firstly, what about the ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
As vivid as these flames I saw it. A male babe, born to me.
Babe with the power.